It was always my dream that we would recreate what I saw in the Mark II Jaguar, something very special, very lean and very lithe. If you look at the XF, it feels and looks right. It's a very warm car, because it's got a lot of softness and a lot of shape about it. But it does have an edge to it. It does say performance. It has got a confidence. It's got a stance that says, this is a sports saloon or a sports sedan. It is a joy to look at. And that, to me, is one of the most important aspects of a Jaguar. It's a cool car. It's very cool.
When you sit behind the wheel of the XF, you instantaneously feel that this is an extremely modern car. The materials and the construction, the proportion of the car is just completely different to anything that you've seen before. So everything that you see in the car, leathers, veneers, aluminium, all create a very contemporary, warm feel.
We obviously still want to offer the very rich, luxurious materials that historically we're famous for. But what we want to do is we want to offer them in a very modern way.
Very sporty, very wide, and you really get that impression of space with the aluminium wrapping round into the doors.
So it's things like having a higher, more substantial centre console so that you feel like you're in a sports car.
It's very deceiving. This car's like a TARDIS. The amount of headroom that you've got is absolutely fantastic.
You can sit in it and feel comfortable. You can put people in the rear seat and they can feel comfortable. And it's got an enormous boot.
You don't have to worry about the size of the boot or the trunk or the back seats, so it all works. But there's this added element, the fact you can actually enjoy being in it because it just looks fantastic.
When you press the start button to start the engine, a whole sequence of events occurs that animates the vehicle into life. So the rotary shifter rises, this lovely visual ballet as the vents deploy to the open position, touchscreen comes on, and then your message centre does a system check for the car and you're ready to go.
When I watch people seeing this for the first, second or even third time, they have this enormous smile on their face. They're enjoying this.
The Jaguar Drive rotary shifter basically changes the transmission using shift bar wire technology like you find in a fighter aircraft. If you just put the vehicle into drive, then the car will automatically change gears for you. But if you choose to change manually, then you can do manual shifts with the paddles on the back of the steering wheel.
Jaguar is about technology, but not confrontational technology.
Moving towards touchscreens to control the majority of a car's functions. For example, satellite navigation, change the CD or track on the MP3 player, rather than having a plethora of buttons scattered around the interior.
If you look at what's happening in the audio industry in terms of what people are having in their living rooms, surround sound, Dolby, people expect more at home. Why shouldn't they expect such fantastic sound in their car?
You can have an absolutely state-of-the-art Bowers & Wilkins surround sound system.
What we've done in working with Jaguar on the XF is just taken a fundamental look at the acoustics of a car cabin and looked at using specific audio technologies to create an absolutely amazing sound inside that environment. I think that people are going to be pretty knocked out at how much more enjoyable a car journey can be.
We've spent a lot of time on the nighttime ambience, very much inspired by aircraft cockpits, mobile phones, precision technology to create a very thin area of light that would actually group a set of buttons together, which would make it very ergonomically easy to use. Jaguar Sense is our little bit of magic. It's a proximity sensor that we've hidden away. It's a really charming part of the car.
There's a great confidence within Jaguar engineering that we know how to make cars that drive well. Today's XJ, the XK demonstrate our credentials in the engineering community for making brilliant driving cars.
The XF is very thoroughly engineered. It looks sporting, looks athletic, and it drives in the same way. Even under the most extreme duress, the car remains faithful, it remains controlled and linear in its responses. It's fun to drive, and yet it's comfortable and refined as well. The way the gearbox is calibrated in the XF, it's so much quicker and easier than any manual transmission. It's absolutely immediate. It's very smooth. The driver just feels immediately connected to the transmission. It's really very good. Dynamic stability control system. It's 3 settings. It has a standard setting where the system is optimised to make the car safe in all driving conditions. There's a track DSC mode, and that allows the car to slide a little, but there's a safety net. Or if you really want to, you can turn the system right off. To make the car more easy to drive in difficult conditions, the XF has got a winter mode, which has been developed at winter test facilities. So the car systems, the stability control, the throttle progression and the transmission calibration are all optimised to make maximum use of the available traction. It just makes the car easier and makes the driver more confident in difficult conditions.
The initial wow factor of the design will be the first thing that people will look at, and then we'll enhance that by giving them a car that is very safe and very exciting to drive.
XF has got a monocoque body shell, which effectively means the body's fully integrated with its chassis. So it's very, very important that we've got a very stiff and a very strong body structure on the car. Good in terms of driving dynamics, good in terms of the stiffness of the vehicle, but also good in terms of clearly crash performance and vehicle safety.
The inherently very stiff body gives us a refinement advantage. It's allowed us to optimise the suspension bushings for accuracy and precision without having to compromise them to gain refinement.
From the very stiff body shell, we get tight panel gaps, very good levels of craftsmanship. It gives us a very high quality car.
This passenger cell, which runs around the outside of the door, is reinforced with ultra-high strength steels. That, coupled together with our internal restraint system, makes sure that we've got very, very competitive side impact performance on the car.
We do take a lot of care over aerodynamics, not only from reducing the drag coefficient of the vehicle, which is really important, but as importantly, we want the car to feel very secure at high speeds. And that's about aerodynamic lift as well as aerodynamic drag.
If you extend the car, it sounds great, it sounds powerful, but if you just want to cruise, the car's virtually silent.
The traditional Jaguar customers love the car, but it also gives those that haven't ever tried Jaguar a reason to try.
You know, the collective value of everybody pulling in one direction is phenomenal, and that is the strongest pull I've ever felt in any program I've worked on. And I think that force that we created between ourselves and amongst the rest of the team was what has driven this phenomenal car.